Annie here with another infernal anecdote. Today, we're diving into the chilling chronicles of a woman whose name became synonymous with terror in Australia. Her plot to butcher, skin, and feast on her lover will leave you speechless. Get ready to unravel the Hannibal housewife of Australia, Katherine Knight. Now, let's rewind. Katherine Knight was born on October 24th, 1955, in Tenterfield, New South Wales. She was the product of a troubled family environment that started with a scandalous affair between her mother, Barbara Ruffin, and her father, Ken Knight. Katherine's mother already had 4 boys with another man. The cherry on top was she even met Katherine's father, Ken, through her husband. When their affair came to light, it shook their small town. Ken was an alcoholic who had a history of domestic violence. No one in the household was safe from his wrath. Barbara eventually left Ken, but also left Katherine and her siblings in Ken's care. Witnessing and experiencing such violence at a young age can have an impact on a child's development and can normalize aggressive behavior. Katherine started to display signs of aggression from a young age, especially to small animals. This is a major red flag for potential violent behavior later in life. She also had behavioral problems and difficulties in school, acting out towards classmates and authority figures. Overall, Katherine's childhood was filled with family dysfunction, abuse, and early signs of aggression. As a teenager, she had a fascination with knives. Katherine ended up scoring her dream job as a meat worker when she was just 16. She was later promoted and given her own set of butcher knives. Katherine hung them above her bed wherever she lived. This laid the groundwork for the disturbing behavior that would later manifest in her adult life. Fast forward to adulthood, Katherine's love life was a roller coaster ride from hell, filled with tumultuous relationships of her own. Her romance with John Price would ultimately thrust her into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. While working in the butcher shop, Katherine met David Kellett. They got married in 1976. She reportedly tried to strangle him on their wedding night. Reason was, he fell asleep after having intercourse when Katherine wanted to have some more fun. Somehow, they stay married for 10 years after that. During their 10 together, Katherine had many crazy episodes. There was another incident where she had burned all his clothes and shoes, then smacked him across the head with a frying pan, all because he came home late from a darts competition. Eventually, he came to his senses and left her. Katherine continued her violent streak in her next relationship with David Saunders. Within a few months, he moved in with her and her 2 daughters. Katherine was always incredibly suspicious about what he did when she wasn't around. At one point, Katherine slit the throat of his 2-month-old dingo puppy, right in front of him, to show him her power and dominance. Somehow, they stayed together. A year later, they even conceive a daughter together. However, he left Katherine shortly after the birth of their daughter, so she attempted to kill him with a pair of scissors. Oh, bless her sweet soul. Katherine then meets a man named John Chillingworth. They spend the next 3 years together and have Katherine's first son. It seemed like this was her only normal relationship. No reports of violent behavior or abuse, but John does end up breaking things off with Katherine. he finds out Catherine was having an affair with another John. John Charles Thomas Price, aka Pricey. Pricey was a father of 3 whom she met in the early 1990s. They moved in together in 1995, and things were going swell. However, things turned violent when she suggested they marry, and he declined. Catherine's explosive temper and jealous behavior may have been the reasons why. It would often lead to physical violence, with John being the target of her aggression. Despite the turbulent nature of their relationship, he remained with Catherine, perhaps out of fear or a misguided sense of loyalty. Only John knows why. The relationship between Catherine and John came to a horrifying climax in February 2000. Earlier that month, a heated argument between two ended with her attempting to stab him in the chest. John took out a restraining order against Catherine, concerned for his safety and his kids. John told his co-workers that if he ever went missing, it was because she killed him. Sadly, this would be the case. Of February 29th, 2000, Catherine waited till John fell asleep and then took one of the knives that she had conveniently hung in her bedroom. What she did next was infernal. John woke up to Catherine repeatedly stabbing him. Unfortunately, he couldn't fend her off and had succumbed to his injuries. Catherine had stabbed John 37 times. 37 times. She then dragged his lifeless body downstairs and proceeded to engage in more unthinkable acts of brutality. Using her extensive experience as a meat worker, Catherine decapitated and then flayed the skin from John's corpse. She later hung his skin, like a grotesque trophy, from a meat hook in their living room. Absolutely wild. Catherine didn't stop there. She had prepared to further desecrate John's remains. Catherine decided to make dinner. This recipe included potatoes, pumpkin, beets, zucchini, cabbage, squash, and body parts of John. Did I mention one of those body parts was his head? The insanity. Oh, and then she made gravy too. She must have been exhausted from all her activities because evidence showed she only ate half her plate. To complete the meal from hell, Catherine took a large number of pills and passed out next to John's headless, mutilated corpse. The following day, March 1st, 2000, his co-workers called the police after he didn't show up for work. They arrived to find the gruesome crime scene and immediately detained Catherine. On the table, they found 2 full plates, each labeled a name. Catherine had planned to serve Price's body parts to his kids. Fortunately, authorities intervened before she could carry out this horrific plan. The discovery of John's mutilated body sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community of Aberdeen and reverberated across Australia. The details of the crime were beyond comprehension for many, prompting widespread outrage and disbelief. Overwhelming evidence and eyewitness testimonies left little doubt about her guilt. Catherine pleaded guilty, and in November 2001, Catherine Knight became the first woman in Australia's history to be sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole at Silverwater Women's Correctional Centre. Some say justice was served. Others wonder if it's enough. The case of Catherine Knight and John Price remains etched in the annals of Australian crime history as a reminder of the depths of human depravity. It serves as a testament to the devastating consequences of unchecked violence and abuse. Also, the importance of recognizing and addressing these signs in relationships. As we wrap up the chilling chronicles of the Hannibal housewife of Australia, let's take a moment to honor the memory of those whose lives were affected by Catherine's brutality. Thanks for watching. Take care. Subscribe, and I'll see you in my next mix of infernal anecdotes.